Hi everyone, wherever you are, I hope you are doing well. My name is Samuel Okoshisi. This is the Spirit of Freedom Ministry. Thank you for joining me again. And today we will be going to the self-training teaching, the long-awaited teaching. I know we've talked about self-discovery, and I believe you have discovered yourself. God has opened your eyes to see through the 5 questions and also the SWOT analysis, the SWOT concept that I brought in there. I believe you've been blessed. You've analyzed yourself. You've noticed your strength. You've analyzed your weaknesses and also the opportunities and how to identify them, and also the threat to your destiny, to the purpose and the vision God has for you. So today we'll be going to self-training. And self-training has to begin after you have accepted yourself the way you are. You have accepted your strength and your weaknesses. You've accepted, you've been able to understand. I gave an example of what threat is and how opportunities can be. So when you understand all these things and you have accepted the way you are, don't judge yourself. Nobody is perfect. I want you to see yourself as a finished image on a canvas. Let's say an artist who imagined in himself that he wants to draw a very beautiful horse, a lovely image, very beautiful. But then as he is constructing or drawing it, there are little dents here and there, an adjustment that he needs to make, but he doesn't focus on the adjustment and the little error he makes here and there as he's trying to sketch it out or draw it out on the canvas. But he's been empowered or encouraged with the vision of the beautiful image that he had in his mind. So when he finishes it, then he can be very accomplished and fulfilled. This is how you are in the eyes of God, and this is the way I want you to see yourself. See yourself as this beautiful image that God is trying to draw or sketch. But the little here and there, which are the weaknesses that God is trying to work on, but it is still beautiful. So don't see your shortcomings and weaknesses and be ashamed and be feeling guilty. Don't feel guilty. Acknowledge it. See it as God trying to make adjustment to bring your beauty and your glory and to reveal you to the whole world. Are you here with me? So your strength, we will still be using the SWOT analysis that I talked about the last time, SWOT, which strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So at the strength level, the S, when you identify your strength, the next thing is to do what? To practice. The next thing is to practice. I will encourage you to focus on your most accomplished, or the strength that you feel accomplished in doing. The strength you feel most accomplished in doing. You might have several. Some people are more talented, but focus on the one that you feel most accomplished doing. I said feeling accomplished means you feel happy that you have rendered a service to humanity, to make humanity or your immediate environment better. The one that you do often, that comes easy to you and you feel most accomplished doing, I would advise that you focus more on that. So when you have identified that and you focus more on that, the next thing is to what? To start training. The next thing is to train. If you look at the book of Hebrews 5:14, it says, solid food is for those who are mature, who, I'm reading the NLT version now, who through training have the skill to recognize the difference between right and wrong. Who through training have the skill. Training is important to perfect or develop the strength that the Lord has given to you. My own training, as I said, I had the opportunity through my father-in-law, to preach once in a while. Those are training moments. When I was teaching in schools, high schools in Nigeria, those were training moments to sharpen my teaching gift and know how to talk and relate with people. You understand? What I'm doing now is still developing my mastery. You know, I'm on a journey. We all are on a journey. Nobody is perfect, but as time goes on, you will just see that you become one with your strength. You become one with your gift. You can wake up from the sleep and start manifesting. You understand what I mean? So this is the goal now. So focus on the one that makes you feel most accomplished. And how can you get better in doing that? You read books that are in line with that. You can have a mentor, somebody who is already practicing that thing you intend to become at a higher level. You know, you might have God might direct that person to you, or you reach out with honor and respect to that person to train, teach you, or mentor you with counsel and all of that. So, but my advice will be, when you are developing this, I don't want your focus to be on immediate reward. Just focus on the skill you want to learn. You know, focus on the development. You might have to go to school, you might read some books, watch some videos. Be intentional in developing the skill. The gift is there. The strength that you have are there. The Lord has deposited it in there for a particular purpose. So it is like bringing out virtue or gold with dirt on the earth. From the earth, it has so many dirt around it, but you need to clean it up and refine it. So you have treasure in you. Discover it and put it to practice. Do not be fully concerned on the immediate failure. As you are training, you will realize that you will make mistakes along the way. You will fail at some point, you know, even more than once. But still believe, see the failure as opportunity to learn from them and get better. Focus on the training. Don't focus on the immediate reward yet. Forget that. That will come with time. But let your focus be on development. As for mentorship, you can see Samuel and Eli. Eli was, teaching Samuel how to understand the word of God. Jesus and the disciples also, and so on. Let's look at the strength of Samson for an example. If you look at the book of Judges 14:5-6, it says, Judges 14:5-6, it says, as Samson and his parents were going down to Timnah, a young lion suddenly attacked Samson near the vineyards of Timnah. At that moment, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, and he ripped the lion's jaw apart with his bare hands. He did it as easily as if it were a young goat, but he didn't tell his father or mother about it. That is one of his gifts. Unusual strength. If you read that Judges again, 15:14-17. 15:14-17. As Samson arrived at Lehi, the Philistines came shouting in triumph, but the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon Samson, and he snapped the ropes of his arms as if they were bond strands of flax, and they fell from his wrists. Then he found the jawbone of a recently killed donkey. He picked it up and killed 1,000 Philistines with it. Then Samson said, with the jawbone of a donkey, I have piled them in heaps. With the jawbone of a donkey, I have killed 1,000 men. 17. When he finished his boasting, he threw away the jawbone, and the place was named Jawbone Hill. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him. That means he had an unusual strength. That was his gift. That was his strength. That is one of the things that identified him, that distinguishes him from other men. He had supernatural strength. Can you understand that? So you also have a supernatural ability that is not easy and not common. Like me now, I know I cannot sing. I know my voice. God only understands my voice when I sing, when I'm singing. So I know that is not my area of giftings. And I love it. I don't care about it. I can't be ashamed about it. But I sing to my Father. I sing to God. And He understands. He loves my voice. You may not love it, but my Father loves it. Anyway, let's talk about weaknesses. Be intentional to work on them. Be intentional to work on your weaknesses. Everybody has weaknesses. You don't need to cover it up. You have weaknesses. But here, for example, if your weakness is sexual immorality or sexual lust, what you need to do, you just need to change your perspective. If you see sexual lust as pleasure before or fun, change it to receive the revelation of God, to now know that this is not fun, but a trap or threat to your destiny. So when you stop seeing it from being fun or pleasure to threat to destiny, your attitude will change towards it. You just need to change your perspective. Once you change your perspective, you will be withdrawing. You know, when the enemy brings that, you know, oh, you want to get to me? No, I'm not. I'm not going to fall into your trap again. So be intentional about your weaknesses. Getting an accountability partner too is good. Somebody that you can always confide in and talk to. Like, okay, I experienced that anger yesterday again. I experienced that episode again. And, the person can just encourage you and like, okay, before you know it, you start getting better. If you have to see a therapist, go see a therapist. Talk about it. Talk about it. And if you cannot afford it, look for someone, especially someone who is God-fearing, who loves you, and who you trust, who your spirit leads to. God can bring the person to you, or your spirit can just lead you to that person. You don't have to tell the whole world about your weaknesses or something, but someone you can trust and someone that wants you to be better. Someone that really will not use it against you, but use it to develop you. That we have compassion upon you and we understand that, okay, we all are not perfect. So you need to do that. And you need to validate yourself. If your weakness is always seeking external validation, know that you are enough. If you make a decision and you make a mistake, you learn from it and get better. It is good to have people you can always talk to seek counsel, but it doesn't have to be all the time that you can't make any decision without somebody agreeing to you. No, the goal is for you to develop yourself to the point that your decision making will be better. That is the goal. That is when you start validating yourself, improving that, then you validate yourself. That you just know, you just feel it in your guts, or you just have the sensing, or you just know as with training. With what? Training. Training the weaknesses, they get better to know what is the discern between right and wrong. As you keep doing it, you will see that your intuition and your decision making will be better. Let's look at Samson quickly. Though I have explained, given an example of his strength, let's look at his weaknesses. We all know that area, don't we? Judges 14:1-4. Judges 14:1-4. One day when Samson was in Timnah, one of the Philistine women caught his eye. When he returned home, he told his father and mother, a young Philistine woman in Timnah caught my eye. I want to marry her. Get her for me. 3. His father and mother objected. Isn't there even one woman in our tribe or among all the Israelites you could marry? They asked, why must you go to the pagan Philistines to find a wife? But Samson told his father, get her for me. She looks good to me. She looks what? Good to me. This is lust speaking through him here. Let's go to Judges 16:1-4 again. Judges 16:1-4. Now Samson went to Gaza and saw a harlot there and went in to her. When the Gazites were told Samson has come here, they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the gate of the city. They were quiet all night, saying, in the morning when it is daylight, we will kill him. And Samson lay low till midnight. Then he arose at midnight, took hold of the doors of the gate of the city, and the two gate posts, pulled them up, bar and all, pulled them on his shoulders, and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Afterward, it happened that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. So this was before he even married Delilah. He saw another harlot there. He went in with her, which means he had sexual intercourse with her. And that almost got him killed, because then the enemy knew that he was around. Can you see? As powerful as he was, with his strength and the special anointing of God upon his life, there is that area too, which the enemy could get him through. The goal, God will always share light on that area, on the area of your weakness. The goal is for God knows that the enemy might want to get you through that area. So he wants you to intentionally work on it. The goal is not for you to be ashamed. The goal is for you to work on it. And as time goes on, once your perspective changed, Samson could have been killed here. If he could see that, wow, God has been giving him warning signs before Delilah that he got married to betrayed him and eventually got him killed. Can you see? So he has been experiencing trouble and pain through that weakness. God has been shedding light on it. He did not just yield to the signs of God. He did not listen. So for the opportunities here, when an opportunity shows up, don't be looking for opportunities for immediate reward. Focus on opportunities that will improve your skill, that will make you better, that will develop that strength. The opportunity that will give you more knowledge, more understanding of your gifts, of your strength. Don't focus on the immediate reward. When you are at the training stage, when you have got to the mastery stage and you have mastered the skill, I'm telling you, the reward that you are seeking will find its way to you. But when you are at the self-training season, focus on the development and the sharpening of the skill. Focus on developing relationships and connections. Focus on knowledge, acquiring adequate knowledge and understanding. Now I am doing this and all that. I am not after money. I am improving myself, getting better, teaching you, mastering my teaching skill, and all of that. That is what you should be focusing on. Don't focus on immediate reward. Don't focus on immediate reward. Develop the ability to recognize divine opportunities. As time goes on, you will just know that, this is God's opportunity. It might not look big when the opportunity shows up, but as time goes on, you will be sensitive to the spirit, that you know that even though it's not what you expect in terms of size and capability, but this might be God. Because it will bring peace, it will bring adequate relationship, it will bring development, it will bring knowledge. I remember when I was working in a company at Decatur here in Illinois, when I graduated from my MSc at Western Illinois University. That was 2018. After that, the first job I got, a master's holder, the first job I got was not a salaried job. It was an hourly job somewhere there. And I had to drive almost an hour to even clock in 6 a.m. in the morning. So it was more like substandard to my level, to my qualification. But yet, I did. It was better than staying at home. I was going there, driving. I would leave my house like around 5 a.m. I had to clock in, maybe 4:30. Clock in, sometimes the weather will be bad during the snow and all of that during the winter period. But I would do that. After like a month, my supervisor then, because I had developed good relationship with him, I've learned a lot about the company I've learned not extremely so much a lot, but you've learned and you've developed relationship and attitude and all of that. My supervisor then told me that in another department there was a promotional opportunity to a salaried position, and the supervisor of that unit was his younger brother, and he recommended me to the younger brother, saying that I was diligent, respectful, hardworking, and all of that. Lo and behold, I got the promotion after a month in the company. And those that were there before me, the opportunity would come, but because I was diligent, I did not think about, this was substandard according to my qualification. But I did it. And because I was faithful for 1 month, doing it, going there consistently, God opened up an opportunity. If I had focused on the immediate reward, I had been focusing on the amount they were supposed to pay me, I would have missed the promotion that would have happened just a month after. Can you see that? You don't focus on the immediate reward. Focus on the development, especially when you are in a training state. Be sincere with yourself. Focus on the development, acquiring of knowledge, making wonderful relationships, and at the right time, the Lord will open up opportunity that will take you to the next level. You understand what I mean? All right. So the next one is threats. Threats are things or attitudes or beliefs that threatens your gifts, your strength, your purpose, and your destiny. One of them, if you are the type that your weakness is not setting boundaries, and people just like ride over you and just push your boundary and make you do what you don't really want to do, then you have to learn how to set boundaries. Boundaries to protect your peace, boundaries to protect your time, boundaries to protect your energy, and so on. You need to learn how to set boundaries. It won't come easy. Even after setting boundary the first time, you might feel guilty for even setting boundaries. You might start blaming yourself as if you were selfish. No, you aren't selfish. You are protecting yourself. You need your peace to pursue destiny. You need your energy to pursue destiny. You need your finances to pursue destiny. So it is necessary for you to invest in yourself and protect yourself at that time. You are not being selfish. It is a wise decision. But at the beginning, it will be very difficult. So also you need to cut off or reduce your contact with toxic relationships and environment. It is important for you to put yourself in an environment that develops your gift. Among people, relationships, environment that develops your gift, that make you feel better, that make you that inspires you or encourages you to keep going forward. You understand? So once you have identified toxic environments, relationships that are close to you or that you involve in, you can cut off the time that you spend there. If you can't cut it off 100%, you reduce the time, because you need positivity around you. With much positivity, you will have the energy and the inspiration to pursue your goal. If you are the type that maybe there's a negative family pattern or family history, then you need to start developing an individualistic mentality, an independent mentality. God created each person uniquely. You are unique in God's eyes. When God calls somebody, he calls one person. He doesn't call a nation. He doesn't call a family. He calls one person to do his work. He can call other family members for another purpose. What he called you for is not what he called your siblings for. What he called you for is not what he called your parents for. Even when God called Jesus as Jesus, and Jesus was about to start his ministry, the father and the mother were looking for him. He said, "Don't you know I am supposed to do the work of my Father?" He brought himself out. He set himself apart to focus on the destiny. So you need to know, it doesn't mean you are selfish. It just means that you are focused on the assignment God has called you to do. And when we all die, when we go up, Father, we ask you, what did you do with the gift that I gave you? You can't tell him that, oh, my family doesn't do that, or my family didn't like it, so I didn't pursue it because my family didn't like it. You can't tell God that. God will say, really? Okay, but let us talk about what will happen after or something. But God, I believe God will not be happy because he deposited that strength, that gift, that ability in you so that you can be productive and bless his children, his people with that gift. I will stop here. I don't want the video to be too long. It's already 25 minutes. Thank you for your time. I hope you've learned one or two things. Continue to practice. Don't focus on immediate reward. Reward will come in due season. Keep developing the relationship. Identify the threats and know how to avoid them. Sharpen your weaknesses and your gifts. Do less of the weaknesses and be able to identify divine opportunities. It will not appear the way you expect it to be. But when you are sensitive to the Spirit and with training, you will be able to identify this is the right decision. When I came to America, I came from I applied to 2 schools. One was supposed to pay more and one paid like half. So the one that was supposed to a big private school, I didn't get that employment. I got the one from like half salary. But that was the school where the Lord gave me the connection to come to America. Can you see that? But if I had not accepted that employment because of the immediate salary, I wouldn't probably be here now. Can you see? You don't focus on the immediate reward. Be sensitive to the move of the Holy Spirit. Thank you for your time. I'll see you next time. Bye.